Welcome back to episode 13 of ALS Matters. Just for everybody watching, this is like the third time we've tried to do this. We talk about everything about ALS with researchers, patients, doctors, all that kind of stuff. And today we have a couple of special guests, Chris and Cissy Larkin. Chris, could you kind of give us just the Cliff Notes version of your, experience with ALS so far?
I was diagnosed in 22. Other than that, it's life as normal. So add to it.
Well, it's not normal. And there's deterioration. He has pseudobulbar, which means it starts at the face and tongue. And also, Chris was a football player at A&M, and he does not like his emotions known. He's not emotional. And to have pseudobulbar, which erodes your ability to handle, you cry a lot or you laugh a lot. It seems like a harsh twist. So he laughs a lot and cries a lot, which he hates.
That is by far the worst part of this.
Now he was a big golfer, so he not being able to play golf.
Yeah.
But he says this is the worst. This is the worst.
Yeah, the crying will get you. That was one of the things that I realized that kind of made me go get tested was, I was on the way to work one day and kind of had a little crying episode for no apparent reason. So that one can definitely throw people for sure.
Just maddening.
So what, I know both you guys have kind of really jumped into the advocacy space. We're going to touch on that for a little bit. Kind of what inspired you both to kind of jump into the advocacy and that sort of thing around ALS?
Well, in 2024, the very first ALS conference, ALS Association conference, I didn't really know about them. And my friend sent me some information, and I went to the conference in August, over a year ago. And I met everyone there at the ALS Association. And Diana Aravallo, she came up to me and was telling me she's advocacy. And I am usually doing advocacy for my business. I go to the Texas Capitol. We're in Washington, D.C. doing advocacy. And she said, well, in Texas, we've been really trying to pass this bill, and it's been years and years, and we haven't been able to do anything. Would you like to help? And I said, sure, I'll help in any way. And I said, I don't know if this might help. My little sister is a state rep in Texas. And she said, oh, wow. And I said, her name is Ann Johnson. Well, Diana loves Ann. And so we started meeting with Ann. And Ann said, I can write the bill for you. Ann's a Democrat. I can write the bill for you, but just in our environment, it's not going to go anywhere if you don't have it sponsored by my friends that are Republican. And she's very friendly. She knows everybody at the Capitol. Everybody loves her. And so she got two other Republican House members to sponsor the bill, and off we went.
So talking about the bill, let's go ahead and get into that a little bit. So it's the Texas Medigap Law 3, correct?
It's House Bill 2516.
Oh,
and it's,
yes. You're right.
You're right.
The unofficial name, sorry.
Yeah.
So kind of let's walk through that a little bit and talk about how that's helping ALS patients in your state.
Well, if you're over 65, you can be on Medicare. And then the insurance companies, Medicare covers 80%. The insurance companies, you can buy a Medigap policy, and your premiums can be maybe $400 if you're over 65. A month.
Oh, wow.
For the gap
part.
Right.
But if you're under 65, Medicare will still let you have the disability and cover 80%. If you have ALS. But as you know, 80% of maybe $200,000 a year is, you've got another 20% left over. So when you go under 65 to get that that Medigap insurance, your premiums could be $2,000, $2,500. And many people that have are stricken with ALS, they've lost their jobs, they've lost the ability to move. They don't have a lot of money.
Right.
So this bill says in Texas, the insurance companies must give the under 65 person the ability to have the lower premiums around the $400 a month rather than the $2,700 a month or $3,000 a month. They have to give that person the lower premiums, which helps you a month.
Got you. And that's strictly ALS, or are there other more aggressive disease that fall into that? I'm just curious.
In our bill, we had the end-stage renal disease people and
kidney disease.
Kidney disease and ALS patients get that affordable premium if you're under 65.
So two.
So there's two diseases helped us pass the bill.
That's awesome. You talked a bit about Nexus, and I hate that I've missed you guys at both because I've also been to both of them so far. If you go to the one in Florida next year, we are definitely going to connect.
This year at the conference this year, we were running around and we had so many other things that we were doing during it. And Chris's sister came. So I feel like I didn't get to be in as many of the sessions as normal, just because you start seeing people or scheduling things. So
right.
We got to meet Olga though.
Yes, we got to meet Olga.
She's the only one that matters. Her and Olivia, I would say. So let's talk about your experiences with the Nexus conferences, both of them real quick. What do you think you've gotten the most out of in going to these? Besides obviously finding the ALS Association and that sort of thing.
Seeing other people and their challenges and their dealing with their non-challenges.
Right.
So that was great, I think.
Well, I wanted to find out more. Of course, you do all this research and you're with all your doctors and in your daily discovery and life. And I thought this would be great because you had all these researchers around the world, doctors and from around the world. When I went the first time, I met so many people and they were so willing to stand and talk to me. And I wanted to find out more. And so I was listening to one of the researchers, I think from Australia. He had a neural presentation and it was really over my head.
Yeah.
But after his presentation, I went up to him and said, look, what is it going to take? This disease has been around. You've known about it for 100 years. What is it going to take? And he said, I think we need $1 billion for research and trials. And I thought, okay, I'm not a scientist. I can't do science, but I can do something about raising money. So that's when I said, I got to figure out a fundraiser.
Yeah. And so let's touch on that a bit too. You guys have the Aggie Land Against ALS, I think is what it's called. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
Well, Chris played football at A&M.
Right.
And I wanted to do some kind of fundraiser because I was in all the walks and stuff. And I said, well, I wonder if A&M is the biggest school in the nation and they've got so much spirit. You know how Aggies are. And I thought, I wonder if, and he has so many friends. He has tons of friends that they have been together for 40 years. So I called the chancellor's office and Chris says, they're not going to let you do anything. And I called the chancellor's office and got his voicemail and I rambled on about, I'd love to do a fundraiser for A&M. My husband played football and yada, yada, da-da-da. And I thought, he's not going to call me back. But the next day, his assistant called me back and said, they would love to help you do that. So they got me with the Brandy Tuck, who runs the events. And ever since then, we've been working on this fundraiser. We're trying to do, I wanted to do something that not only is the walk and then you raise money, but also something would last. And remember, the first Ice Bucket Challenge was 10 years ago, and it was just kind of a fluke. And I thought, well, there's nothing more special than A&M and the way they do the band and everything.
Yeah.
So I started working with the head of the band and the head of the corps. And I said, let's do 500 people on the field and spell out ALS. So they started working with me. So now, and then the communications department, Mike Riley, he is helping us. He's going to film it with drones. So we're trying to do, and I researched, that would be the largest ice bucket challenge in America.
Nice.
So we're trying to do the largest ice bucket challenge, have it filmed, put the Aggie, hopefully the Aggie hymn and stuff like that, and then put it on social media just to celebrate the Aggies, celebrate the fundraising effort, and maybe it will raise more.
Awareness.
Awareness is the thing, because as you know, Cory, many people, when you say, do you know the ice bucket challenge? And they say, yeah, but they don't know what it was for.
Right.
They forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy, I was talking about it briefly with a guy at my gym the other day, and he's like, no, I remember like everybody pouring ice on their head, but I don't remember what it was for.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, happens to be for that random disease that I have. So
Yeah.
We're trying to change that.
We want to bring awareness, because as you know, that's the way we are going to get more dollars.
Money comes later.
Mhm.
Right. So it feels like you guys do a lot of this stuff together, which I'm sure is very inspiring for people. What is, or kind of how do you support each other through this while managing the day-to-day ALS diagnosis and all the things that you need to do with Chris? How do you guys kind of manage through that?
Well, we have actually worked together for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
In the same
Yeah.
business. He was in another business before, but then I pulled him into the mortgage.
I joined
He joined the cult. And so we're used to working together, and now everything is remote, right? I mean,
Right.
well, he can still stand. He really can't walk. He has a walker, and we finally got an electric wheelchair. So we still travel. He goes to see all of his customers.
We still work on our day job too. So,
Oh, wow.
and that leads into everything else, the ALS partnership.
Yeah.
Right.
We do everything together anyway.
Right.
And so, as you know, it's hard to get him dressed. We are fortunate for right now, Chris can still actually stand and with his walker get to the bathroom. He can get in the shower. I can get him dressed. I drive us everywhere. We have the wheelchair that's a foldable wheelchair. So I get it in and out of the car and get him into the wheelchair. And we are so fortunate. We both work for the same company. And when he first was diagnosed, I was so scared to let them know because I knew he was going to deteriorate. Now, he's already one of the top producers, so he's a valuable member of the company. And one day, his boss called me, it was about 2 or 3 years ago, and she said, what is going on with Chris? Because he was getting weaker. And I just burst out crying because I thought, oh, no, what's going to happen? Because we don't want to lose our jobs and stuff.
Right.
And so I was crying, and I told her all about the ALS diagnosis. And I said, I don't want you to fire him. And he said, how could you think we would fire him? She said, we will be supportive and be behind him 100%, no matter what. We want to be there for him. I'll do all of his appointments. I'll take care of him.
Nice.
So the owner of the company, the president of the company, the senior VP of the division, they have just been, it's overwhelming. And then when we started this fundraiser, they immediately said, we want to sponsor. They gave $10,000. Then they asked all the employees to donate. Then they said, we'll match whatever the employees donated. They put it on the intranet of the company. They have been so supportive. Plaza Home Mortgage is an angel.
We're quite lucky.
Yes.
Very lucky.
Yeah, it was one of the things I was worried about having that conversation myself I work for a very large telecommunications company, and luckily they have been extremely supportive of everything,
Right.
which has been awesome. But I've heard some horror stories out there, and have some family members that didn't have similar experiences. So it's good to see that there are other folks out there doing that kind of thing.
Yes.
So working together for so long and then coming into an ALS diagnosis, what would be some advice you would give other husbands and wives kind of going through this to help make it work?
I would add, look at what you have, not what you don't have. So look, I hate to say look down, but not up, but it's always sorry, helps me when I look out and see what other people have that is worse off than I am. And it makes me get up and say, stop feeling down. Look at that guy or that girl. They have it much worse. Maybe they're younger. Maybe they don't have the company like you and I do. So look at what you have, be it family, wife, friends, whatever it is. You have something. So look at the positive.
When I get down, because I get more down than he does, he's the rock of our family, and he always says, "Honey, none of us are getting out of here alive.
That is
We have to live
true.
every day to the fullest." And we have been so blessed. He has, he goes to an away Aggie game every year. So he has these.
We beat Notre Dame yet or Saturday.
I saw that.
Yeah, that.
He's what could be better? What could be
Right.
better?
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago when he started getting worse, he has these, it was 8 guys, now 10 guys, but these 8 guys, and he's been doing this for 30 years, and they're all Aggies. And Chris said, look, I'm not going, because they go on a Thursday, they play golf on a Friday, and then they go to the game, they do all this stuff. It's a big weekend for them. And one day he calls them up and said, look, I'm not going because it's a pain for anybody to take care of me, and it will keep you from having the fun you want to do. So just count me out, and y'all go ahead and go without me. Well, the next day, Larry Burns, his friend, called me. He said, sis, you tell him he's going. We've talked about this. We leave no Aggie behind.
There you go.
And ever since then, they take the wheelchair. They rent these big, Airbnbs with 7 bedrooms, and they cook. They give him the best room. So
see, there are some upsides to ALS. I don't care what anybody says.
But and then we have other friends that Mark and Lisa Karanovich, we traveled to Europe with them for 20 years. We go all over. And a couple of years ago, we said, you guys go on. We don't need to go because it'll be such a hassle for a wheelchair and not being able to do the things that we always did. And they said, are you kidding me? We want to be with you guys as long as we possibly can. We don't care what it takes. We're going together.
You get all kinds of benefits too. You park on the front row. You get doors open for you.
That's good. I like your outlook for sure. It's one of the things I struggled with for the first few months is, having a positive outlook after getting that diagnosis. So.
Oh, we cried.
Find a way.
We cried for a month.
Look at what you have.
Yeah.
Accept it. I didn't. And initially, I didn't want to be different, but now I'm fine with it. So take it, enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that mindset's definitely helpful for a lot of folks once they, find something they can fight for. Like if it's a fundraising or
I get more pretty girls coming up wanting to take 5 feet.
right than ever, I'm sure, right? That's funny. So what's next in the advocacy space for you guys, or even like, are there any, Aggie Land projects you've got coming up? What's the next big thing coming?
Well, our fundraiser is November 1 at A&M Aggie Park. We're doing a 5K run, the 1 mile walk. We're hopefully going to have music on the stage at Aggie Park. And then we're doing try to do the 500 people ice bucket challenge
Festival.
We're trying to make it a festival. So we want everybody to sign up, join the walk, join the 5K, sign up on the website, aggielandagainstals.org, and come to it's going to be, we're trying to have fun. We're trying to have fun at it. We don't want to dwell on the negative. It's a fun outing. We're going to raise money. We're going to try to create a big ice bucket challenge.
That's awesome.
And this is fun. Seriously, it is. Doing this with you, we're having a blast.
Well, I'm glad. I've always been able to talk to people, so I figured this was the logical step for me, but we'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah, and Cory, this is wonderful that you do this, because awareness and understanding of a motor neuron disease, it's complicated and people don't think about it. They think it's Parkinson's or MS or something. Right. So I applaud you for all this effort.
It's definitely Olga and Olivia on the back end. I just sit here and talk, so I've got the easy job. Kind of thinking through everything and seeing how people have turned out to these, the Nexus conferences and things like that. In your dealing with people, kind of what gives you hope going forward with everything? Where do you find your hope?
I would say you and I both are experiencing it. Our companies are great. People are great. You guys are great. So that is hope. The world is not bad.
Well, I feel like if we can put more money into the research, and all the researchers are constantly saying, with the added tool of AI to analyze all the data, the possibility of finding cures, or at least an ability to stop the progression, we're close. I hope there's going to be new ideas and in the future. So we just got to keep working through it.
Yeah, that was one of the things from this past Nexus conference. Some of the research that was shared there seemed pretty promising. Now, I don't know if it will be or not, but it seemed that way from what they were sharing. So I think right now that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
We want to be the group that gets the benefit of everything, right?
Right.
All you can do is say, okay, I'm going to be here when the cure comes. When the cure comes. That's what we're hoping for.
Yep, I think it's a good mantra. Well, Chris, Cissy, I appreciate you joining today. It's really inspiring. I hate that I'm not going to be able to make it down to Aggie Land in November, but maybe next year. Thank you guys for joining. For everybody watching, please like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Cory.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.